the drawing tools. If you're not already in painting, you can go up to this top right corner right here, select this icon right here, and select painting. Or if you're already in painting and you switched around some windows for some reason, you can always go to reset painting. Let's get started with the brush tool. So this is a really basic but powerful tool. And you can find it over here on the toolbar. Looks like a brush like this. There are some other brushes too, but those are a little different. So just go ahead and select this tool right here. Now, if you left click it and come over to your canvas, you can go ahead and left click and drag, and you will start to paint. Now, we can do just about anything to modify this brush. Change the color, opacity, shape, size, and more. Let's start with color first. Down here in the bottom left corner, there are two squares. One should be black and one should be white. If we just select left click this black square right here, the one right in front, this should bring up a color picker menu. Now in this menu, you can select any color you'd like. Going down is going to make it darker, going up is going to make it lighter, going to the right is going to make it more saturated, and this bar is going to change your hue. Now, once you're happy with a color, you can go ahead and press OK, and that will change the square to the color you selected. If you try to paint, it should be that color you picked. Now back to the squares, you'll notice that there's also a square underneath this square that for the color you picked. There's also another square underneath this square. Think of these squares as like a mini color palette where you only have two colors to select from. Right now, the color we have underneath this green color is white. And to get to this color, if we want to select it, all we have to do is press the X button on our keyboard, and that will swap our colors. So now we'll be painting in white. So how is this useful? Well, let's say there's a color I really like and I don't want to lose it. I can select that color, swap it, and then choose another color and choose any other color I'd like. This is useful for blending and retaining certain colors. The most common two colors to have on these squares is black and white. And in fact, it's so common that Photoshop has a little button right above these two big squares. We have two smaller squares right here. And if you just go ahead and press that, that will automatically make your two colors black and white. Now, let's take a look at size. The easiest way to change your size of the brush is to press the brackets on your keyboard, and that will increment the size of your brush. Now, if you want to do it manually, you can always come up right here and change the size with this slider right here, or you can go over to this tab and change the size right here. Now, let's say you want your brush to be more transparent. No problem. You can go up to this bar right here, opacity, and you can go ahead and lower that. And now you'll get a more transparent brush. Okay, so let's take a look at some different presets you can use in order to change the shape and dynamics, scattering, really fun stuff that we'll get into. So over here on the right, there should be a tab called Brushes. And you should see some folders like this, some general brushes, dry media brushes, things like that. So you can open any one you'd like, and you should see that there are some different presets you can use, such as, let's say, hard round, for example. That's going to give you a hard round edge, and soft, for example, is going to give you a soft edge. I'm going to have some presets that are going to be a little different from yours, as I've downloaded some custom ones, which you can do too. If you want some custom brushes, I'll leave some links in the About section where you can get your own. If you want your brush to be a little bit more interesting, these are pretty basic. It's just a circle. If we want to make it more interesting, we can go over here to this button right here, if we left click it, you should get this menu like this. Now, you should see all these check boxes here, and what these are going to do, think of these as effects that you can put on your brush. And each of these check boxes will do something different to your brush. And in here, we can change all these settings. So let's look at scattering, for example. I'm just going to uncheck these real quick and make sure scattering is checked. In here, we have some options. Let's just put this at scatter at how about 900%, and we'll just leave these like this. So if I go ahead and draw, you will see that we are now getting this crazy scattering effect with our brush, and that is pretty cool. I would recommend experimenting with all these or some of these or whatever. Once you know how to use one, like the scattering, you can go ahead and use all of them or as many as you'd like because they all function the same. So one last thing that's really useful is if you hold down Alt while you have the brush selected, you will get this color picker. And if you left click anywhere, I'm just holding it down, you will see that we can now select a new color. And if we just let go, you can see here in these squares that we now have that color I just selected.